Well, we obviously first day official practice by NCAA rules. We've been out here, but it's been individual workouts. Excited. It's been a long kind of break for us. We finished a little earlier this fall because we've had to do some renovations here. We got a new field and some new facilities we've done here. So we did finish a little earlier. So it's been a little bit longer break than we normally would, but it worked out good because our field is ready to go. And no, we're excited. You know, we got obviously high expectations for the team. Last year was disappointing. We had a great opportunity right here in our own ballpark, hosting as a national seed, and came up short. And we got a lot of guys back from that team I know are hungry, and hopefully that experience will get us over the hump and get us back to Omaha.
Is that the bottom line? You know, they got to feel the disappointment, so now those guys are back.
Yeah.
Know what to expect.
I think so. I mean, it's all a process, a learning process. Those were tough games. You know, we lost late. Just the whole series, to be honest with you. Even though we won the first game, we went to our bullpen way too early. Something we've talked about. We need our starters to go longer in games. This all has a domino effect, I think, because we went early in the bullpen, and we went to our bullpen a lot throughout the second half of the season. We did not get good enough quality starts from our starters. And you could even go to Carson Palmquist, who was really, really good for us on Friday nights. He averaged about 5 innings a start. That's just not enough for a starter here at Miami if we're going to be successful. We need to go deeper in the games, turn the ball over. We feel like we have arguably the best closer in the country. Right now, I'm not saying that. He's right now preparing to be a starter. I have an idea who I think our starters should be. I definitely think Andrew Walters closing out games for the University of Miami is best for the University of Miami, but we're going to see these next 3 weeks. We've already had one inter-squad scrimmage. They will have 3 more starts, and then and guys will throw throughout. The bullpen guys will throw more than that, but their starters will have 3 more starts, and we'll make that decision when the time is right for that. But there's no doubt, I'm hoping a lot of the guys that came back from that. We have a lot of good leaders on this team, maybe more than I can recall, in terms of veteran guys that are just high character guys that have the right attitude and the right mentality. Doesn't mean you're always going to win everything, but I certainly like that as a coach. It helps because it just it carries and trickles down to the rest of the team.
You know, how tough is that to get starters to go more in this day and age where kids aren't throwing 7 innings?
Yeah. Well, at our level, they should be. I mean, they're prepared to throw 100 pitches. If you're throwing 100 pitches in 5 innings, that's not a quality start. That's too many pitches. So, I mean, if we can get through 6, that's fine. If you can turn it over to the bullpen in the 7th inning, that's fine. If you get a starter that throws 7 innings, that's a bonus. That's great. That obviously means he's being very efficient, and that's what a starter needs to learn to do. You're not going to pitch at the next level if you're throwing 100, 110 pitches and you can't get through 5 innings. That's just not going to work. So you're right, and in this day and age, but at our level, guys need to be prepared for that, because certainly at the next level, absolutely, if you're going to be a starter, you're throwing 100-plus pitches and starts.
You got one guy, Yo-Yo, coming back, who's at the top of everybody's charts. How important is it to have a guy like that who is a leader?
Yeah. Well, it's huge. You know, it's always good when your top players are some of your higher character guys. I mean, that's just a huge bonus for us. Walters is that kind of guy. If I think of some of our veteran guys that are those guys, I think of Zach Levinson, Alejandro Torres, Ronnie Gallo, even Gage Zeal, who's younger than those guys, but second year here, but he's only a sophomore. But no doubt, Yo-Yo, he's kind of the Pied Piper of the team. Everybody looks up to him. The eyes are on him. He handles himself very well, very mature. He's very loose. You don't ever see him down. You don't ever see him pouting. No negativity from him. I mean, that can only be a good thing for the rest of the guys around. So, yes, when you have your best, and it doesn't always work that way, when you have your best player can be your leader like that and everybody look up to, not just because of how he plays, but how he handles himself. Yo-Yo's got that it factor. It helps.
What is the impact of building a new bullpen outside the dugout now?
Well, it's more for safety reasons, one, because fortunately, knock on wood, we haven't. I don't recall in all my years, might have had I'm sure we've had a few guys go over, on a pop-up, whether it's a first base, second baseman, or corner outfielder, both bullpens, and have some guys wipe out there. I don't think we've had any serious injuries, but it is a hazard. You shouldn't have your bullpens in play. We also had our bullpens thrown the wrong way for so many years. They're not thrown in the direction they should be thrown in, which is the way it is on the field. So for those reasons, we'd been wanting to do it for some time, and so it was nice to be able to do it for both sides here. So yesterday was kind of my first day being out on the field with us taking BP, and it was nice to see balls being hit over there. Didn't have to worry about any issues. We're trying to throw bullpens during practice. JD's got his back turned. Again, we were throwing the opposite direction. Don't ask me why. That's the way it always was. But, you know, JD and the pitcher, they got their back to the hitter, and it's just a constant worrying about, it's silly, but serious. Constant thing, having to worry about balls coming at you. So we won't have to worry about that anymore.
Coach, who are the young players on this roster? You know, now you've had the full fall camp. I know we talked after the fall game. Who is the young player on this roster that's really sticking out to you, can make an immediate impact?
Well, young player, I will say freshmen, because we have new players that have really, you know, you have the portal now and transfers. But in terms of freshmen and young players, on the offensive side, I'd say Blake Sear. Blake Sear is an exciting player to watch. He plays with a lot of energy, a lot of passion. He can swing the bat. He's got a lot of bat speed. He can run. He's very quick. He's playing some second, some short. He'll even play a little third today. Obviously, we feel good about our third baseman and shortstop last year. Dorian did a very good job at second last year, and when he went down, Ariel did a very good job over there, so we do have a little bit of a battle at second base. But Blake stands out to me as a hitter, no doubt, for the young guys. On the pitching side, we've had a few guys. We do have veteran. We're a veteran team, so we have some veteran pitchers. So the opportunity for some of our younger guys is going to be out of the pen. But Ashton Crowther, as a left-handed pitcher, you know, stands out to me. And you know, maybe as a right-hander, we only have a couple freshman right-handers, but maybe Sebastian Perez. But rookie-wise, you know, we have some portal guys that are first-year guys. You know, Ian Farrell came from Florida Gulf Coast, who I didn't know until Josh told me, I guess, yesterday. He broke the record for season home runs and RBIs at Florida Gulf Coast. He had a great year. That I do know because we faced him 3 times last year. Dario Gomez has really stood out to me. He's been an excellent kind of old school. I always say that because I am a player here from a long time ago, but an old school Miami player that's really tough. And he could be possibly a leadoff guy for us. He could possibly play center field. He has played at a high level at Nevada for 2 years and played very, very well. So he's a guy that's proven himself too.
Coach, just your thoughts on the portal and how it's kind of changed the landscape of college sports?
It has totally changed it. Recruiting has definitely changed. So now your recruiting class, you have to make sure you're balanced, especially with us speaking from a partial scholarship sport, and we're almost like a salary cap team, if you will. We have to worry about where our money is and where it's going. And if you bring in too many freshmen, remember the portal for us and recruiting, the bulk of it is in the summer, right when the season ends. That's when you see a lot of activity with, whether it's our players might be leaving or other players leaving, and now you're fighting. And it's a crazy battle, and it's a very quick one over the summer of trying to get the C players playing. You better have money for those guys. So you can't bring in maybe as many freshmen. And of course, you're going to have some JUCO transfers. You got to, especially in our state. We have good JUCO baseball. You got to keep in mind you have to save some money for those portal guys because, to be honest, it's the college baseball has gotten better because of that. And you're going to have a lot of older guys playing. The whole pandemic and getting that extra year is going to come up in a year or two here, and that will be over. So you won't have those 23-year-olds playing anymore. But still, you're going to have more veteran guys. The freshmen coming in are going to be battling guys that have been playing college baseball for 4 years at other places maybe and started, and they transfer into a big school like Miami. So it has its pros and cons, there's no doubt. It is what it is. It's not going anywhere. I certainly don't like the fact that when things don't work out in life, you just hang it up and go somewhere else. That's not exactly the lesson to learn in life. But in some cases, it does work out, and it is a good thing for guys. But in the overall big picture, that's what we have, and that's what we have to deal with.
Gino, with 7 teams ranked, ACC teams ranked, and we play the other 6, do you think that's a positive in getting the national seed?
It can. I mean, in our conference and playing in our state and having to play the Gators every year, our strength of schedule is always going to be good. It's just set in stone. We don't ever have to worry about it because the ACC is so good in baseball, and we play Florida outside for a weekend series, and the fact that all our midweek games are they're in state schools. Florida's pretty good baseball in the state of Florida, so all those FAUs and FIUs going to be better now. They're all good, and so the bottom line is you got to win. If you win, and with our schedule that's set every year, than what happened last year. Even though we faltered and we limped into it last year, we still were a national seed because of our overall record against the strength of the schedule. And so that's always a good thing. And I tell our guys, you don't have to worry about one of those teams that, oh, we got to win 45, 48 games, even 50 games, whatever it may be, because our strength of schedule is not very good, or our conference is maybe not very good, or our out of conference is not good. That's never going to be a problem here at Miami.
We'll do a few more for Gino.
And Coach, speaking of the schedule, you started the season off with 8 consecutive home games. How important is it to get the fan support in order to give you guys some momentum to win those early games before going out on the road?
Yeah, it's always important. I mean, the fans is huge here. Times have changed over the years at Miami, there's no doubt. I was just talking to somebody the other day about it, and when I played here, there was nothing going on. There was no Heat, there was no Panthers, there was no Marlins, which all three can be going on at the same time of our season, by the way. And of course, the Dolphins wouldn't be going on. But that's all we had was the Dolphins and Miami football and baseball. We didn't have basketball here for 15 years. While I was growing up, we didn't even have basketball. So the baseball was everything. That's not going to come back. We understand that. There's other things to battle. But look, we don't have a 10,000 seated capacity stadium. I'd like to say 5,000. It's probably not that anymore. But whatever it is, it'd be sure would be nice to fill it up. I've always said this, and I'm not just saying this as a coach. There's no better ticket in town, period. None. For a family, for kids, to come to a ballpark, to be entertained, to watch good baseball, and all the outside entertainment that goes with it. And we're right here in the heart of the southwestern part of Coral Gables, but we're in an easy, accessible place to get to. And our team will be fun to watch. This team will be fun to watch. And I hope the fans will come out and support us. Obviously, it's nice to play in front of fans, so hopefully that'll be the case.